Hello, today I'll be showing you how can you undervolt your AMD graphics card. But firstly, let me talk about what undervolting is. Undervolting reduces the voltage that your component, usually the core itself, how much voltage that it does take. By reducing the voltage, you are essentially reducing the total power drop of your graphics card as well. Now this comes with one single issue: stability. The reason why you can undervolt is because manufacturers do not know how good your silicon is. Because of this, they need to give more voltage and put the more voltage in every card. So the cards with worse silicon quality will undervolt less. The cards with good silicon quality will undervolt better. And the reason why you are undervolting is to get rid of that extra voltage that the manufacturer gave you to ensure stability, but risk your stability a little bit. Today I'll be showing you how can you do this for less temperatures, less power draw, and longer lifespan of your graphics card. To do this, you need two programs, which is AMD Adrenalin. It is a general program, everyone has it. And the second one is ForMark. What ForMark is that it is a GPU stress test tool. This is the tool that we will be using to ensure stability. So make sure that you download ForMark from the link in the description I gave you. Once that you download the ForMark and launch, head over to Performance and Tuning. Once you are here, you will be greeted with this window. I need you to head over to Custom and scroll down a bit. Here you see GPU tuning, VRAM tuning, and your fan tuning, and most obviously power tuning. Now, a thing about undervolting is if your card is hitting the power limit, once you undervolt it, it will hit the power limit again, but with higher clocks. I removed every power limit on my RX 580 2048 SP, so I will not be hitting any power limits, but you will see how much undervolting can reduce the power draw and the temperatures. To do this, I'm going to use a default fan curve, everything to the stock, just to see what happens when you don't undervolt and do undervolt your GPU. So to get started, you need to open your power tuning tab and slide it all the way to the maximum. In my case it's 75. In your case it might be 85, 90%, 50%. In AMD RX 580 2040 SP this is 50%. But as I told you before, my card has no power limits or anything. That's why it's 75%. Normally it will be 50%, and just for the sake of this video I will take it to 50%. Apply changes and you will be hitting 150 watts normally. I won't, just to show you how effective an undervolt is. So run ForMark to see your temperatures of your TDP. So what I need you to do is open up this panel by tapping on Advanced Control and Voltage Manual. Once you are here, you will wait for your card to warm up a bit. For example, it's 45 degrees right now. Once that you let your GPU to warm up a bit, we will start undervolting and you will see how much that affects the power consumption of this graphics card. Alright, let's start undervolting. Usually the RX 580 2040 SP takes 1.15 volts, which is 1150 millivolts. You can reduce this by putting -20, -20, -20 on each run and check if it's stable or not stable. So keep an eye on the power consumption. It's 145 to 150. These are the stock values, by the way. So you will put 1130, press enter, then apply changes. This will reduce the power consumption. In my case, it increased because I run a modded VBIOS. But in your case, either it will be the same but with higher clock speeds because of the power limit, or it will result in a lower power consumption. Let me adjust this to 50% again. And in here, you can start reducing it more if you did not crash. Usually, Polaris and Ellesmere GPUs lets you do like 150 millivolt undervolt, but you can never be sure and you can't just use someone else's preset. So you need to find your own 1100 like this. Apply the changes and see the power consumption. As you can see, from 165 watts, we dropped to 150 watts. And our temperatures are in the 70 degrees, 71 degrees at 150. Let's try reducing it more to, let's say, 1050 millivolts. As you can see, this made a significant drop in power consumption. But, as I told you before, you need to check if it's stable or not. That's why we are running Firmark in the background. What Firmark lets you do is to check the stability of your graphics card. Without Firmark, you can never be sure if your undervolt is stable or not stable. Another thing that you should check is the in-game stability. Of course, if something is stable at Firmark, it's going to be stable in-game as well. But just in case, you need to be sure. So after each undervolt that you do, you should test in Firmark for at least 1 or 2 minutes. Once that you test in Firmark and it does not crash, then it is 100% stable for the core. Let's try reducing it even more. Let's say 1020 millivolts. Let's see the power consumption. -5 watts. 129. Around that. Not bad. Not bad. So like 170s, 180s, 230s. How much of a temperature difference? Well, since I am running on a pretty hot environment, you cannot really check the difference, but in your case, it will do a difference. So once you confirm that this is stable, you can drop the voltages even more. Let's say 980 millivolts, because why not? 120 watts. Yes, 120 watts, and it's stable. So we are around minus 170 watts. Sorry, millivolts. 170 millivolts on the core, and it's still running perfectly fine. And the reason for this is, as I told you before, the extra voltage that the manufacturers give it to your GPU to ensure stability. Alright, so we've been running Firmark without any issues for quite a bit time, and we know 980 is stable, but in Ellesmere and Polaris GPUs, the limit is like minus 200 millivolts. I ran this GPU on minus 210 millivolts, it ran fine, but after some time I ran into stability issues, so around 980 is your limit. But what about these states? For an example, state 6 has lower clocks, so it will need less power, so you can actually undervolt this even more. How can you be sure? Well, it's obvious. It is running on less clocks, which needs less voltages. And for every bit, you're going to undervolt it by minus 10. So state 6 and state 7 has the biggest gap of all, except for state 1 and 2. And you can actually undervolt this even more. Not 10. But just to be sure, we will do it by 10. So 970, 960, 950, 940, 930. So state 1 is obviously too low, so you will not be, it's too low, so don't give it more than like this much. Actually, you can undervolt it, but I don't really find it helpful because it's just 15 watts of difference between the lowest millivolts. Apply changes, and as you can see, you have just undervolted your GPU, reduced the temperatures by a lot. So my GPU is warmed up. I'll show you the difference between the power consumption and the stock, like the stock voltages and stock power. Okay, I'll cut this part out. So I will show you how much the card heats up when it's on stock voltages and unlimited power versus when it's undervolted. So if I set this to 1.15 volts and maximum power limit and apply, as you can see, it has a higher power consumption and the card is heating up like crazy. It will hit 79 as we speak. Yeah, as you can see, 79. I think it will hit like 82, and if you remember, we were like around 72 degrees, which was significantly lower than it was before. As you can see, you have undervolted your graphics card, so you now have less power consumption, more efficient system, and honestly just a better computer. And it also gives you a slight performance boost as well, because we were like around 52 FPS, and after undervolt we just hit like 58 before. So thank you guys for watching. I will leave some notes on the video for you guys to see. Let me know if you have any questions, and please write a comment if you need help. And also contact me if you need a unlocked power tuned VBIOS if you want to overclock it. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching.